Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio, and I'm here for a new AC Milan video. Of course, the transfer window has been done. It has finished last night, but we're still going to have daily videos on our channel, of course, to discuss everything that is going around at Milan, as promised to you guys. And today, I want to speak about Donnarumma and what has been really happening with him in the media, on the internet, social media, anything you want to call it, because recently there have been many reports talking about Donnarumma, and unfortunately these reports weren't very nice to Donnarumma, if I could put it in any better word. At the moment I cannot, but what I mean by this is that many reports were saying that Milan fans have been criticizing Donnarumma in the recent matches. He hasn't been playing to his best potential. Then you got reports from Tutto Sport saying like the usual stuff that they always talk about, the usual stupidities, and they say that Gigio has a future at Juve. Raiola pretty much freezes Milan on Donnarumma, meaning that Milan's not gonna have any say on him. They're not gonna have the opportunity to keep Donnarumma because they're just an inconsistent team. They're not capable to develop a right project. They're not capable of really keeping guys like Donnarumma, a guy that has a big future ahead of him. Well, Raiola has mentioned several times that Donnarumma is waiting until the takeover from the Chinese before really mentioning his intentions with the club, whether he's gonna have to stay at Milan or whether his intentions of moving elsewhere are the ones that he's actually thinking of. And I could understand where Donnarumma is going with this. I completely understand. There's no disrespect whatsoever for Donnarumma for taking his time and waiting for the new owners before deciding what's best for him and his career. But what bothers me the most is the fact that these stupid newspapers such as Tutto Sport, which we all know they're pro-Juventus, they always speak about Juventus, they always favor them in any possible way. It just makes me sick to my stomach, really, what some sources need to do in order to sell their papers. And it's just ridiculous to have a headline saying Donnarumma's future is at Juve. What, just because the guy wants to wait until March to speak with the Chinese? Just because he wants to hear the intentions of the Chinese over his contract and wages? You cannot go out there and make stupid remarks like that or stupid titles in the newspapers saying that the fans are criticizing Donnarumma and you're just starting shit and stupid rumors all over the place. You cannot do that, and this is definitely a hit at Tutto Sport, one of my most hated sources of all time. For you guys that live in Italy, or even for you guys that have access to the newspaper, you can all tell how stupid this source is. But to me, it just makes me sick to my stomach that they have to put that as an headline and as a picture in the front cover of the newspaper saying Donnarumma's future is at Juve. Seriously? Seriously. Like, that's how you're gonna have to sell newspapers. To me, it makes me sick to my stomach. Like I said, it's disgusting from journalists and media to be speaking about a player in that way. It also makes the player not feel good because he's always thinking of these reports. He's thinking that, oh yeah, maybe the fans are actually criticizing me about my recent performances. Now, I'm not saying that Donnarumma had the best of performances recently. He did make some mistakes, which is normal. Everyone is human. Everyone's going to make mistakes, not only in football or calcio, but even in life, and we all know that. So it's honestly acceptable to see players, especially young players, make mistakes. Locatelli made a mistake, so what? Everyone just starts criticizing him? That simply doesn't go like that. And to me, like I said before, you cannot state that the fans are criticizing a player just because they are making constructive feedback on his performance. And I've said it even in match reviews, in live streams. I've been saying it over and over again. You know, I said that Donnarumma, maybe he should have made the save instead of letting that shot in. Maybe he should have positioned himself better instead of where he was actually positioned. And I did make constructive feedback. But that's one thing, and another thing is criticizing, or at least coming out to say that all Milan fans are criticizing Donnarumma, because obviously that's not true. I personally, I don't know any Milan fan that is criticizing Donnarumma, but you know, to these reports, they have to sell somehow, so they have to come up with shit. And to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, I really don't understand the motive behind these papers mentioning this, besides monetary reasons, because that's the only thing. But if they really believe that their so beloved club, Juventus, could get a shot at Donnarumma just by mentioning that on their news headlines, well, they're just fucking crazy. They're out of their mind, because simply, it's not the way to go. Like I said, it's bad journalism, it's unethical. For all of you guys, you don't even have to be in journalism, but I'm not even in journalism, but I know that you shouldn't be doing things like that. But Tutto Sport, of course, they lick Juventus' ass, as we all know. They've done it so many times, it's not the first time, but this is pretty much a video to hit back at them and really express my disapproval with their messages, because it's not once, it's not twice, we've seen it many times where they just shit on Milan. But it's not only Milan, even other teams in the Serie A. To me, I don't understand why you're calling yourself Tutto Sport if you actually should be called Tutto Juve maybe, or Tutto Rube, because that's what they are. But that's besides the point. What I mean is that I honestly, like, is it possible that players could actually sue these newspapers for such statements? I don't know, but maybe it's possible. If I was a player, I would be doing the same. But getting back to Donnarumma and Raiola, Raiola did come out today. He says, I speak a little about Donnarumma because he has to be left in peace. Yeah, he has to be left in peace, but yet everyone's freaking talking about him in such a bad manner. Anyways, he still has a year and a half left in his contract. That's what he said. We are not in talks with any club, and if anyone wants him, you should speak with Milan. I agreed with Galliani to not speak anymore about Donnarumma. Until yesterday, I've never spoken about Donnarumma. And this is also a hit at Raiola. The guy has to shut up. He has to shut up. He has players under his belt. I believe he also has Bonaventura under him. Players that are just so important at Milan. And for me, I just always have this worry that one day he's going to mess them up. Their contracts are going to expire because he wants too much money out of it. He wants to take his big share because he's the one playing week in and week out, apparently. But to me, that's another guy that pisses me off. Like many of you guys probably know, I hate Mino Raiola. One of the most selfish agents, if I could describe him in that way. I just don't like what he does with players. It's all about his personal interest. It's never about the interest of the player. At least that's the way I see it. But if I was Donnarumma, if I was Bonaventura, and I would really want to be left in peace, like Raiola says, I would personally change agent. Come on. Just because you change agent doesn't mean that you're going to not get the wages that you deserve on a yearly basis, you know? So, personally, I would change Raiola if I was Donnarumma as my agent. I wouldn't want him. But that's all to him in the end. But let me know your thoughts about this whole situation. What do you think about the media reporting bullshit like this? Rumors. Really... They're not even backed up, these rumors, by any fact, no statistic, nothing. And they're just put out there saying that, yeah, AC Milan fans are just criticizing Donnarumma out of nowhere. What do you guys make out of these reports? What do you think about Donnarumma's future? Will he actually be staying at Milan once the Chinese takeover takes place? What do you think about Raiola? Let me know all in the comment section below, because I really want to have this discussion with you guys concerning all that has been happening, really, all around the media concerning Donnarumma. So getting into your comments, moving on, yeah, so Jamie says exactly that. Donnarumma should sack Raiola and get a new agent. That's exactly it. That's exactly what he should be doing for to be serious with you guys. Lagarto27 says, I've heard that Mino Raiola earned like 5 million euros after the sale of Pogba. I think he even earned more than that. But it's just funny. Like, I understand that that's your job. I understand that your job is to find the best interest, the best price, the best wages, and so forth for your client. But to take a big cut of it and also to be selfish about it, and at the end of the day, it almost seems like it's your personal interest in the way instead of actually the player's interest. That's what it seems to me at the end of the day. So to me, I just don't understand the whole discussion about it. Personally, I don't see any other agent coming out like he does. But that needs to change. Everything needs to change like that. Yeah, that's exactly it. A lot of people are saying 25 million, that's what he earned for Pogba, and I completely agree. It was a big transfer fund, guys. It was a big transfer fee. Of course he was going to earn that much. Let me read some other comments from you guys. Arjun says, yeah, tutto Juve. That's exactly what it is. Because they always speak in favor of Juventus. Why won't you call yourself tutto Juve instead of tutto sport? Like, really? Tutto sport. Like, to me, when I read about that title, obviously the translation in Italian means everything sports. That's what it means. And while you're always speaking about Juventus, and you're always saying, this player is going to Juventus, this guy is going to Juventus, this guy is going to Juventus, why don't you become affiliated with Juventus and make your own newspaper regarding Juventus instead of covering all the sports? Oh, yeah, that's right, because I wouldn't be making the same money if I didn't make bullshit rumors. Oh, that's right. That's what I'm trying to say. Tutto Sport is a piece of shit newspaper. We all know it. But it's honestly, like, look at Gazzetta. Look at Corriere dello Sport. Yes, they come out with rumors. But at the end of the day, they're not pro any team. They're not for any team. But it's honestly ridiculous. Just ridiculous what they do all the time. It's not just them. Media in general is just a big distraction. And it's not only on the fans, it's also on the players, especially on the players, because every time they read things like that, personally, if I was reading things like that, like criticism from my own fans, I wouldn't really take it too hard, but I would make myself, or at least I would consider different things in my head all the time. And, it's not really being at peace, like Raiola says. Far from it. And to me, I just don't understand why players need to go under that sort of stress on a daily basis. K27 says, should we really be concerned at what Raiola says and that Donnarumma may leave soon? I think he just wants to hype up the media, but it's all up to Donnarumma, and he is a Milanista. I never really heard about Raiola saying that Donnarumma will leave soon. He never said that. What he said is that he wants to wait until the Chinese takeover takes place before understanding their intentions. And I completely understand that. Like I stated at the beginning of the video, I completely understood the concept that Raiola and Donnarumma want. I completely agree with it. I have no problems whatsoever. Like I said, I think it's right to understand the club's intentions. I think it's right to negotiate with the Chinese once they take over, because there's just no point in extending your contract now, not even knowing what's in it for the future of Milan. So I completely get to that. But other things that I've been reading are just completely out of this world. Just completely out of this world. Jamie says, Raiola is already getting millions a year. What does he need more for? Just a greedy twat. I think, you know what it is? He needs attention. The guy needs attention. He needs to be in the media all the time. He needs to be out there like, oh, look at all the players I have under my belt. I have Donnarumma, I have Pogba, I have Bonaventura, I have Ibrahimovic, this guy. He just always needs to be in the center of attention, Raiola. And that's why there's always voices, unnecessary voices speaking about it. But if anything, if these rumors are even coming up from these newspapers, I guess you could blame Raiola as being the major cause. Because if he wouldn't come out and say stupid shit like, oh, we have to wait until then, people wouldn't make ideas. People wouldn't come out and say, oh shit, maybe he's actually leaving Milan. Like, he doesn't have to come out and say things like that. He could keep it in his own mind, and when the Chinese takeover takes place, he deals with the Chinese, end of story. You don't have to do anything else regarding that. Gio, did you know that Donnarumma's older brother plays in Asteras Tripoli? Yeah, I knew about that. He plays in Greece, and I'm not sure how he's doing, to be honest with you. But I think at one point Milan were even considering him as a backup. That would have been crazy to see if both Donnarummas were at Milan. Kaun says it's not just stress, but he's so young. Come on. And that's exactly it. And the fact that he's young and he's probably not even used to all this, you know, confusion going on in the newspapers, all this talk about him. Like, it's one thing about praising the kid, and that could obviously boost his self-confidence, but if you're criticizing a 17-year-old, soon to turn 18, if you're criticizing a guy that's that young, really, it's crazy. It's not... I really wouldn't want to be in his shoes. That's what I'm trying to say. I really wouldn't want to be in his shoes. At his age, you'll need that. All you need is positive thoughts about moving on to your career, doing the best you could, and being the best. You'll need these distractions. You'll need these voices from media at all sorts. And it comes from everywhere. It's not just Tutto Sport or Tutto Merda, like people would say. And I completely agree with that name, by the way. It's just really coming from everywhere. And the kid doesn't need that at all. Sebs SK says, Gio, why didn't you say the same about Jack to wait for the Chinese? Because Jack didn't get that much of an increase in wages. All it was a 1 million increase in wages. It really wasn't much. Now, I'm not quite sure what Donnarumma is presently earning. I could probably find out for you if you want. But it's nowhere near what he's supposed to be earning. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Certain reports are actually still saying that he earns 90,000 euros. And that might be realistic because he was still under contract when he signed the contract. That's the wages that he was earning, so he might still be earning that much at the moment, and that is why once he needs to extend the contract, there's going to be such a big increase because we all know how Donnarumma has performed in recent games or even from last season. Everyone knows that he's one of the future candidates to become the best goalkeeper in the world. Everyone knows that, but and that is why it's taking more time. That's why he actually needs to know the intentions of the Chinese, what they're willing to pay for him, what they want to give him in wages. But that's pretty much it. In terms of Bonaventura, like I said, there really wasn't a substantial increase in his wages, and that's why the whole situation was a bit easier to finalize. Gabriele says, what did you think of our transfer window? Not to move away from the subject of this video, I'm just going to speak briefly about it. I think it was pretty fair of a transfer window considering that we didn't have any transfer funds. We got Deulofeu, Ocampos. I mean, we definitely needed midfielders, but which midfielders that were stable were going to come to Milan on a free transfer? Simply, I don't know. So, I say it was an average mercato. I wouldn't say it was the best, but you also have to consider the financial situation that we were in for this mercato. Silly Wonka says, Donna isn't stupid. He can make his own decisions. Raiola is just an advisor. Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's all about his interest as well. If he doesn't see something that he likes with Donnarumma's salary or contract or whatever, he's going to step in because he's going to want more of a cut. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's the type of agent that he really is. Jamie says, no matter who you are, everyone deserves to be criticized when necessary. And that's the key word that you made there. When necessary and when you deserve it. The guy doesn't deserve it. That's the difference. He doesn't deserve it. He's been keeping Milan on their feet all season round. Sure, you can make a few mistakes once in a while. No one's perfect, like I said. It's normal. But to say that Milan fans are criticizing you and don't want you to stay at AC Milan anymore, to me, it's just bullshit. Complete bullshit. And just by reading titles of those newspapers, you could just agree on that fact. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Robus says, I think it's ridiculous to have this kind of pressure on him. Anything he does in his career at 17 is a big bonus. And he's doing already great things in his career. Things that people, myself at 17, I wasn't even picturing that. Imagine. So, definitely, I purely agree with you on that. He also says, I haven't seen your videos in a while. Well, I'm glad you're back, Robus. Thank you for tuning in. We do have daily videos on the channel, so whenever you want to stop by, make sure you do. Jamie says, in my opinion, he will stay with Milan forever. Why? Says, there's nothing wrong with Donnarumma. He's still a great keeper. Remember how Casillas and Akinfeev started their careers. Think how many mistakes they have made. That's exactly it. Give the guy a chance. Even Locatelli when he was making the mistakes. Was I criticizing him? And you guys that were present last weekend during the Udinese game, you guys, yes, maybe I did criticize him a bit, okay? But it was constructive feedback, meaning that I was evaluating his performance. And when he made a bad pass, I told him he should have done better. But how's that criticism? That's just saying you're providing feedback on an action. You're providing feedback on a performance. You're not criticizing the guy. You're not telling guys, oh, Locatelli shouldn't play anymore. Locatelli should leave Milan for that. The guy doesn't deserve a place in our team. Don't give him a chance. Play Montolivo. Play Bertola. Like, that's way too much to have on a player of that age. Especially at such a young age like Locatelli or Donnarumma currently are at. It's just way too much. Like I said, constructive feedback, for the lack of a better word, is alright when you're talking about a player. But when you're talking about criticism and you're saying all the things that I just mentioned, that's a different thing. Especially for young players, I think it's a really no zone to go in terms of criticizing a player like that. Dimitri says, nothing but pressure on Donnarumma. Raiola is a typical example of an idiot. The guy is destroying football with all those demands for his players. He will stay at Milan for life and that's it. I definitely hope so, Dimitri. I definitely hope that that's the case. Abdul says Donnarumma is still in a youth contract and earned 600,000 according to Gazzetta when they did the wage ranking. Okay, so thank you for that clarification. I wasn't aware that he was earning 600,000. Some reports were saying much less, but that's probably from the previous seasons. Still, it's not even close to what he's supposed to be earning. He's definitely gonna earn at least 2-3 million, in my opinion, for the future. DJ Ram says, I think Donnarumma is the wrong type of agent in my opinion. He is not the Zlatan Pogba type. I agree with you on that. I think he's very different. Serial Killer says, Gio, imagine if Donnarumma leaves. I will honestly give up completely on Milan. Yeah. I wouldn't. I don't even want to imagine. Let's just say that. I honestly don't even want to imagine. Lagarto says, Gio, think about it. We can make 50 million plus with Donnarumma. Raiola even can make us a better deal. He's just a goalkeeper. It's not like a crucial midfielder. We could find a goalkeeper easily. Well, to get back on you on that, which goalkeeper do we have in the past, or at least recent years, that was out of this world, and was the future of Milan? And I'm not speaking about Dida, don't include him in there. I'm speaking about recent times, since Dida left. Who did we have? It's not that easy to find a great goalkeeper. We had Diego Lopez, he was a good goalkeeper, but you saw exactly what happened with him. The guy's getting old. We need a young goalkeeper like Donnarumma that we could keep for an entire dynasty, an entire career, 15, 20 years. That's exactly the type of goalkeeper that we need. Also, I'm not okay with selling Donnarumma, even if it's for 60 million. Let's consider another thing. This summer, we're supposed to get 150 million euros to invest in central midfielders, in midfielders in general, whoever it is, defense, whatever. I think that's quite enough to build a stable ground. I don't think you need to sell 50, 60 million worth of Donnarumma to get someone in the midfield or up front for that price. It's absolutely nonsense. I think that 150 million is enough in order to invest into this team and bring them back where they need to be. Also, you can still sell players that are useless at the moment. Yes, he's scoring goals, but he's not the type of striker that I would personally have. And I'm speaking about Baka. You can easily make 30 million there. We don't have to go and sell our future at all. We don't have to go sell our future at all. Aniket says, Gio, do you see Plizari get a start towards the end? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be getting a start. But maybe we'll be seeing a bit more of him in the preseason. Next summer preseason, maybe he's going to get some more performances there. But I don't see him getting a start anytime this season at all. Taiga says, to be honest, if Donnarumma is going to bring around 100 million to Milan, I think we can let him go and upgrade our team. That would be very reasonable. 100 million, I don't think it's going to go for 100 million. Let's be honest. Yes, a lot of players are going for that price, but these are all established players. Like, if you take a look at Higuain or Pogba, I mean, even there, you could argue that it's a bit of an FD price tag. It's a lot of money, guys. And I don't think any team is going to be paying 100 million at the moment for Donnarumma. Moving on with some questions. Abdul says, Gio, have you noticed Donnarumma's difficulty with free kicks and low shots? I hope squad helps him with that. Like I said, he is in the learning process, you know, and it's going to take time to actually make him perfect. He's already perfect for his age, but I mean perfect for the future, perfect for his career, perfect in terms of stats or whatever it is. Attributes. It needs time to actually build a goalkeeper, and at 17, what he's shown to me already, even though he makes mistakes which are completely normal, even Buffon or whoever it is, top goalkeepers make mistakes at their age. We've seen Buffon making like 2 stupid mistakes. I think it was at the beginning of the season or last season. Yeah, I think it was in the Champions League or something. Like, the guy's been playing all his life in professional football, and yet he still makes mistakes. So why can't Donnarumma make those mistakes? Why can't Locatelli make those mistakes? That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Aniket says, Gio, Milan's problem is that Gigio, Locatelli, Calabria, and Romagnoli have all dipped in form at once. Someone else needs to up the game for some matches. I agree with you. I mean, I kind of agree with you. That's definitely true. Hopefully they'll regain their form. But definitely, I think it's the whole team in general. You pinpoint certain players there, Gigio, Locatelli, and everyone. You definitely pinpoint certain players. But you have to understand that their performances are going to suffer if the team performances in general is suffering. And what I mean by that is whoever you're playing around you, like, if that guy is suffering, chances are you're going to be doing the same. And when the whole team in general is not playing to their potential, they're not playing good as a team, then everyone's going to be dipping in form. And it's only normal. When the team plays together, when the team achieves great results, you can definitely see everyone having their share in the team, and they're in form. But obviously when you lose games, like we've been doing for the past few weeks, it's only normal. I'm gonna read few more questions, maybe 1 or 2 before I sign off. Clement says, fans should leave Gigio alone. I cried here in Ghana while seeing Abbiati making us lose matches and making silly mistakes. This guy's 17, for God's sake. Not to mention Amelia there. Because you guys could all recall when we had Amelia in net, the freaking mistakes that he would make. The guy wouldn't even dive. So just be grateful for what we have, and let's hope that we keep it. Bernard says, hey Gio, I think that Raiola is just trying to get attention and trying to gain as much money for himself. If Gigio wants, he will stay at Milan, and Raiola has no influence in his decision. Completely agree. At the end of the day, it is the player's decision, whether he wants to stay at a team or not. But I just hope that Raiola won't be brainwashing him into making decisions that he won't want to make. Abdul says, Gio, I agree with you. We need to gain extra cash from players like Bacca and not Donnarumma. Aniket says, Gio, if the Chinese don't buy Milan, we won't be able to afford Gigio, right? Well, most likely not, because he's going to be demanding quite a bit of money in wages. Like, a lot of people are saying, yes, he's going to stay at the club no matter what they give him in wages because he loves the club. I agree with you on that, but at the same time, let's not forget that he's young and he deserves the best. He deserves the best in everything, and why should he settle for less than what he deserves? That's my point pretty much on it. MacArthur says the importance of Donnarumma goes further than just a good goalkeeper. He can become a symbol of this team, something needed to win important cups. He could, like, to me personally, when I speak about Milan, I see the face of Donnarumma. Like, I know a lot of people are not going to believe it, but tell me, besides, okay, maybe Bonaventura, but besides him in the team, when you think of Milan, which player's face do you see? Close your eyes and imagine this. Like, you definitely won't see Montolivo. You definitely won't see Bacca. You know, you won't see anyone in the defense. At least for me, the player that I see right away, the image of the club at the moment, is Donnarumma. He's the most talked about player in world football in terms of, at least at Milan. Everyone knows what he's capable of. Everyone knows what he's capable of doing in the future. So, obviously, everyone relates to him. But we'll see about what happens with everything. All I hope for is that Donnarumma does remain at Milan. I'm pretty sure you guys all think the same. But I'm glad you guys joined in this discussion. I'm happy we spoke about certain things. Like I said, even though the transfer daily videos are pretty much done now, that the winter transfer window is finished, I will still be posting daily videos to discuss about current issues or anything in general that's currently going at Milan. Anything that you guys want to discuss, you can also give me ideas, feedback in the comment section, and I will be doing that as you obviously want to. So just make sure to leave feedback. I'll be speaking about different topics every day, and we will continue on that basis. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything going on at AC Milan on a daily basis, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another video. This has been Gio, signing off, and as always, Forza Milan.